episode of Coffee in the Boardroom at CEPTES. I'm your host Charu and we are back again in our welcome. Today, we have with us our very special guest, Mr. Ankur Desai, who is the VP of Salesforce Practice and Delivery, Data Cloud and AI COE. And today we are going to talk about a very important topic, which is org consolidations in Salesforce. Hello Ankur, welcome back.
Hey, hello Charu. Yeah.
Last time we had a great conversation on org consolidation, and it was really, a game changer for me because I understood a lot of things, and so will my viewers. So I decided to welcome you back with another.
There's so many topics, interesting topics in Salesforce. We all know, right?
So today, actually, Ankur, I've been reading these days that many bigger players they are actually working on, Salesforce modernization initiatives. So I wanted to understand in depth, like what basically is a Salesforce modernization initiative, even though it is clearer in terms of grammar or vocabulary, but technically, what is it like? What is a Salesforce modernization initiative, and what does that Salesforce strategy look like?
Okay, good question. So I'll correct a little bit. When we talk about a modernization, it's not always only Salesforce.
Okay.
For any large organization, when they talk about modernization, it's actually modernizing their entire IT landscape.
Okay.
That's what they talk about.
Okay.
Salesforce is part of it. So let's say they are the Salesforce user. They are using Salesforce CRM, which is the front end for most of the organization. And the sales and service team they are using. For them, Salesforce is also part of that initiative. However, the little perspective here is when we talk about modernization means I'm talking about last 1 decade. Okay, when all the large enterprises they were utilizing their different applications for different purpose. There are cases, or most of them, let's say they are not using any Salesforce CRM. The sales team is using, or their support team is using, or their services team is using some different legacy homegrown applications, web-based applications. Okay. Or maybe they are using some off-the-shelf other products. Okay. And this was the time when many large organizations they were using a lot of on-prem hosted systems, applications, homegrown, home developed by different vendors, all that kind of applications they are using, and then this cloud era come when they wanted to migrate their most of the application into cloud. So they called cloud modernization. That was the term used. But basically, it's all about modernization. Is all about how you actually migrate all your legacy applications to the latest technology area, consolidating everything. So last time we had a discussion about org consolidation, right? So that org consolidation is also basically part of the modernization initiative. Okay. So modernization means that you are actually moving your different applications,
all your stack
that, and how you are actually consolidating it to get to and actually moving it to a different advanced technology area and making an enterprise future ready. That's the modernization all about.
Right. So Ankur, I think if you throw some light on a recent project or a use case or a high level business overview, that would be better.
I think I have a perfect example for
Yeah.
this. Actually, it is called Modernization Initiative by the client. Okay,
Yeah.
the program that they are running, and it's a very interesting project. I'll tell you. There is a large credit bureau organization, a global organization. They are having a different applications running in different countries or geography. Okay. And those applications are basically they have a customer care team. Okay, so in credit bureau, I'll just give you little background. For any credit organization, they basically carry sort of customer sensitive data.
Yeah.
And so that they can generate the credit reports. That's their main goal. And they store it in different applications. There were different applications for that. Core application they call it. And which are integrated with financial institutes, banking and all that. And then they provide this data to different financial institutions. Different countries are having different regulations in this area, different compliances altogether. So they have different applications running.
So this client is a global.
It's a global client. So that's why it's very complex.
Yeah.
It's not a credit bureau company operating in one country, but it's actually operating in multiple countries.
Yeah.
So for them, it's a very complex scenario. And they so when they one is the different applications, right? Now to manage their customers, there are two areas. One is from the support standpoint. Dispute resolution is one area. That's a very critical area for them. So they need a dispute resolution system. So whenever any customer or an individual or financial or institutes or commercial thing or MFI kind of clients, they raise a dispute if they see a problem in the data. And there are regulations and SLAs mandated by government to close those disputes in defined timeline. So also to actually calculate that SLA, because there are penalties and all that involved in that. So that logic also to be built in, that to calculate it and to show that data, it should be audit ready data. You calculate that penalty also, that you have to pay, all that stuff. So lot of complexity in this dispute resolution area. So those credit bureaus have that DRS system, dispute resolution system. Generally, they used to have that. To manage those disputes, you need of course, customer care team, right? When the customer will raise that ticket, or that dispute or complaint will come from any sources, like it's maybe a simple email or a phone call, or maybe on a wave form that you raise your dispute and the complaint. That is to be handled very effectively by your customer care team. It's not just general ticket. So for this client I'm talking about, the Modernization initiative, they were running a different legacy Java based applications, and those applications are having different compliance issues, audit issues, also for different countries they were different thing, a very different level of processes they built in, country specific things happening. So it was not actually a very standardized approach for them, and managing it, maintaining it is also another challenge for them. So to eliminate that, they are working on this modernization program where they are planning to, or in process of, not planning, they are already working with them doing. So they are actually migrating all those legacy applications to Salesforce Service Cloud. So Salesforce is well known for its service management part, the case to the resolution part, right? That complete life cycle and all that. The Salesforce is kind of number one in that, and they are now planning to migrate all those applications into the Salesforce Service Cloud instance. Currently, their idea is to migrate this application for the US region, but then they would like to also take it to other geographies, other countries as well.
Okay, right. Understandable and very powerful use case, I must say.
Yeah.
So as you talked about different geographies, right, Ankur? So anyway, for any financial institution, the data is very sensitive, that whatever they handle, like the healthcare, similarly for finance, much more I would say. So, and because of the geographies, it becomes more complex. So it seems like data privacy and security were the topmost priority for this project. So from a business leadership perspective, what do you think, like in the first place, what was the need of rethinking the way they were actually operating before? Like what was that need? Why did they come up with this modernization initiative?
Okay, very interesting question and very interesting topic because we have a lot of brainstorming sessions with our client on this. And I'll tell you why it is very critical and important aspect. As we initially discussed, they are, let's say for like this credit bureau client, okay, the data is important, very important, highly regulated, compliance issues, all that. So when they initially thought about modernizing and consolidating everything into Salesforce, they realized that what are the aspects that they should actually target. Okay, one is that front end part. So let's say your customer care team, they need a very seamless front end where they can see all the data, they can manage the ticket, they can effectively manage the life cycle of the case, end-to-end case of it, right? And deal with a different data, because whatever data that they are dealing with is all sensitive data. Okay, so one area is standardizing and consolidating everything in a very intuitive and rich front end. That's one area, so that your customer care team can effectively manage the case. Other aspect is data consolidation. Now that's a very tricky because of this privacy issue and the localization part also, because all the countries are having different regulations and all that. So you can't have a mechanism where you have one single Salesforce instance running and you actually migrate your entire data into Salesforce. That's not possible for them because they are all highly, some of the applications are not even cloud-based, they are on-prem applications. They are behind the firewall. Okay, how you actually migrate or get those data into a Salesforce? Not possible. So for them, it's a very critical use case to manage this modernization initiative. That what is the best solution to have that front end in a Salesforce, but your data is not transferred. Then your data is sitting wherever it is sitting. Okay, so
is that the zero copy that you're talking about?
Kind of zero copy, because actually zero copy concept in Salesforce world is slightly different, but concept is same, right? So that means we are not actually bringing the data and storing it inside your Salesforce, but you just view it, okay, and
make changes also.
So whatever changes and the actual copy changes happening in the behind the scene in the actual system only behind, but your front end you can see everything. So that's what is the solution we have suggested, and we are working on that migration piece where we are building the front end, the entire front end in Salesforce. However, your data is still sitting there in your protected applications only, or protected databases only, and you just integrate them. Maybe using some middleware or maybe direct integrations, any other iPaaS systems, but you just integrate them and have the entire view within the Salesforce front end.
So because the data is not moving anyway, so it is secure and private.
Yeah, so you are not touching that. It's just that. So only thing that we are building on top of it at the Salesforce end is the role-based access. And the data masking kind of concepts. So let's say all your users should not view some sensitive data. Okay, let's say credit card data or something like that. So for that we are using this Salesforce, the security or data masking kind of feature. We are the role-based access means not all people can see the same view, and it was basically a little bit challenging for us. Why? Because since your data is not part of Salesforce, the building that role-based access on data, because that's the inherent feature of Salesforce. If your data is actually stored, within the Salesforce objects, then it's de facto kind of feature where you can even at a granular level create an access for the specific data for the specific user who can what you. But when your data is actually sitting outside your applications, you can't create that. So we have to create that additional logic on top of this front end that we have built, that how we can create a role-based access. So it's a complex project, but a very interesting one, and we are working on this.
So, Ankur, let's look at the bigger picture. So, what has the is like I think the implementation is done or still going on?
Still going on, but we have the entire plan ready. The implementation plan ready. A lot of things we have already completed, and we are now moving towards a very interesting topic. We can take it in our another podcast is how we can, let's say currently we are developing this for one country, but now want to use this for different countries.
This is
So instead of going with a different development cycle for different countries, how we can utilize the same work and create and deploy this for other countries as well. That's another topic we'll take it, but yes, I think currently almost at 80-90% project is done.
Okay, so because if it would have been done, my question would have been like, what are those important points that you want to highlight in terms of results achieved? But still, it is under process. So
I think results are very evident. That's the reason client is looking for this modernization, and it was the very target-based project where we have to finish it by in next 2-3 months. We have to complete everything altogether, right? And we know that definitely client will realize the value in terms of resolving their customer disputes and their customer queries and tickets so effectively that they in a very standardized way, right? So yes, and then of course slowly once everything is on a Salesforce platform or a front end part of it, you can start leveraging the agent force kind of
that is always there.
Yeah. So,
Okay. So it was a very interesting idea, and the initiative is quite interesting to know. Not that technically, but the business acumen of it is very interesting.
So absolutely, and that's the reason all these organizations are passing through this phase, right? I mean, they must modernize. Otherwise,
they'll be lagging behind
yes,
somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Ankur, for this incredible
Charu.
session.
Thank you so much.
And to the listeners, thank you so much for joining me to Coffee Number CEPTES. Be sure to tune in the next time as well for such techy and happening conversations. Until then, I'm your host Charu signing off.